You ever wonder why some men vanish like smoke, and others stay etched in a woman's soul for years, maybe even for life? It's not looks, it's not money. It's not some Instagram-worthy romance. And no, it's definitely not about saying the right things. It's about presence, about power, about being the kind of man who moves differently. See, most guys are trying to be remembered, but the one she can't forget? He wasn't trying. He just was. Let's break it down. 7 reasons why certain men leave a permanent mark on a woman's heart, and how you can become one of them. 1. He commands the energy of a room, not the reactions of a woman. The unforgettable man doesn't try to control people, especially not her. Most guys think if they can just keep her happy, she stay. They walk on eggshells, they edit themselves. They live in reaction to her moods, but this man, he doesn't chase moods. He regulates the space. His silence speaks louder than arguments. His calm feels stronger than her chaos. He doesn't get pulled into emotional storms. He's the eye of the storm. She remembers him. Not because he overpowered her, but because she could feel his groundedness even when she was spinning. He didn't flinch. He didn't try to fix her. He let her feel what she felt while he stood in his own stillness. And that's unforgettable. 2. He doesn't talk about his worth. He lives. Forgettable man tries to convince you he's valuable. He talks about his job, his money, his grind, his kindness. He's always explaining himself, but the man who stays in her bones long after he's gone, he never explains. He embodies. She could feel it in the way he walked into a room, in the standards he held for himself, in how he carried himself like he already knew who he was and didn't need anyone else to validate it. When he said no, it wasn't out of ego, it was out of self-respect. When he walked away, it wasn't to hurt her, it was because he valued his peace over proving a point. And that quiet kind of confidence, it doesn't scream, but it echoes in her memory. Forever. 3. He moves with purpose, not just passion. Passion fades. Purpose doesn't. You've seen passionate guys, loud, intense, dramatic. They burn hot and burn out. But the man she can't stop thinking about, he was disciplined, he had a mission. He didn't just live for pleasure, he lived for meaning. He turned down distractions. He said no to chaos. He didn't rearrange his life to fit into hers, he invited her to witness the world he was building. And in doing that, he made her want to be chosen, not because he made her feel like the center of everything, but because she realized he was the center of something greater and she wanted in. He was the kind of man who could love deeply, but never lose himself in the process. That's not just attractive, that's rare. 4. He doesn't react to her tests, he understands them. Every woman tests. Not because she's cruel, because she's scared. She wants to know, can you handle me at my worst? Can I trust your strength when mine fades? Will you crumble or stay grounded? And while most men take the bait, argue, plead, over-explain, the unforgettable man, he doesn't flinch. When she goes cold, he doesn't chase. When she lashes out, he doesn't match it. When she goes silent, he listens without fear, without need, because he knows it's not about the words. It's about the energy. He doesn't try to pass the test. He studies it, and then he passes it by standing still, calm, clear, and unmoved. That kind of energy. It makes her feel safe in ways she didn't even know she needed. And once a woman feels safe in your strength, she never see you the same again. 5. He keeps a part of himself hidden, not to withhold, but to protect his value. Too many men think vulnerability means laying everything out. Instantly. They overshare. They overexpose. They bleed emotionally in hopes of connection. But the man she can't figure out completely, he didn't play games. He just didn't feel the need to give it all away. He revealed himself like a novel, chapter by chapter. Not a billboard screaming, "Look at me," but a quiet mystery that kept her coming back. She never felt like she fully had him. Not because he was distant, but because he was whole, and when a man feels complete on his own, every part he does share feels sacred. It's not scarcity, it's value. And value makes people lean in. Especially women. 6. He doesn't beg for the basics, he walks when he's undervalued here. That's a truth most men learn too late. The more you tolerate being an afterthought, the more you become one. Most guys stay too long. They try to prove they're good enough. They settle for breadcrumbs. They explain why they should be treated better. But this man, he doesn't ask twice. He doesn't argue for love. He doesn't convince someone to see his worth. He just leaves quietly, peacefully, powerfully, because he knows if she can't see what he brings to the table, he'll build a new table somewhere else. And when he leaves like that, not with bitterness, but with clarity, she feels it. That moment haunts her more than any argument ever could. 7. He leaves without needing to be missed. This is the one that never stops echoing. He didn't leave to get a reaction. Didn't block her. Didn't post quotes. Didn't try to make her regret anything. He just walked away full, like a man who had already processed the loss before it happened. Like a man who wasn't afraid of silence, he mastered it, and in that silence, she started to hear everything she'd ignored. All the ways he stood tall. All the ways he held space. All the things he didn't say but made her feel because he didn't need closure. He was the closure. She expected noise, drama, a second chance, but she got none of it. And that absence, that stillness, it screamed. Final words. Listen, brother. This isn't about becoming cold, bitter, or emotionless. This isn't about playing games or pretending you don't care. This is about becoming a man so centered, so grounded, so whole, that your presence lingers long after you leave. Man who doesn't just attract women but imprints on them because you didn't chase validation, you didn't demand attention, you didn't fold to be liked, you just lived with standards, with silence, with stillness, with strength. And that kind of man, he's not a chapter in her story. He's the paragraph she keeps rereading, even when the book has ended. If this hit you, if something in you knows this is who you're becoming, drop the word "burned in the comments. Not to be noticed, but because that's what happens when a man like you enters a room and never really leaves.